Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Math. Today we're going to be learning about rounding. Let me share my screen and we'll get into it. So, when we're looking at rounding, I really like to think about money. Now, I'm going to imagine that we live in a slightly different world. In this world, change does not exist. We cannot get change. So what that means is that we need to give the shopkeeper the closest amount, an amount of money that is closest to how much we owe. Now, that's going to look different. We're going to run through a bunch of scenarios and we're going to see how that's different in different scenarios. So, the first run through is that we only have $100 notes. So, if we're rounding to the nearest $100 note, nearest 100, this number here, should we round to 100 or 0? You'd be right that we're going to round to 0 because $23 is closer to 100, closer to 0 than 100. So if we only have a $100 note, we're going to give him 0. If we now have $100 notes and $10 notes, so we're going to now round to the nearest 10. How much should we give the shopkeeper to be as close as possible to our total, which is $23.45? It'd be absolutely correct if you said that we should round to $20. So to the nearest 100 is $0. To the nearest 10 is $20. Now let's think about $1. To the nearest 1. We're going to then give him $23. 10 cents. Now this is a tricky one because this is 45 cents. And if you told me that 45 is exactly halfway between 40 and 50, you would be correct. But we have to make a judgment call. In this case, the judgment call that we're going to make is that 5 is closer to 50 than 4. That 45 is closer to 50 than 40. That is called Swedish rounding. But that's what we're going to do. If it's 5, we're going to round it up. So in this case, we're going to agree that it's closest to $23.50. Now let's say I have all of those denominations, but I also have a 1-cent coin. That's going to just stay as $23.45. I didn't entirely plan to go all the way to 1-cent coins. So let's imagine that we have this extra number here. In which case, 0.455 is going to be closest to 4/6. All right. So now that we've had some practice at rounding, let's look at the general rule. In the hundreds, I looked at this number. All right, I looked at the 20s. Or the 10s, sorry. I looked at the 10s. When I was rounding to the nearest 10, I looked at this number, the 1s. When I was rounding to the nearest 1, I looked at this number here. Rounded to the nearest 10 cents, we looked at this number here. And then when we were rounding to the nearest 1 cent, we looked at this number here. So you would be absolutely correct. So to make a summary rule, look at the number to the right, one place, to the right. Oh, that's cool. To the right of the place we want to round to, okay? So that's just where we look. If we want to round to the nearest 10, we're going to look at this. Then, if that number is 5 or greater, now if I wanted to write that in mathematical terms, greater than or equal to 5, round up. Otherwise, round down. No, not round down. It's probably what you might have heard in class, but an easy way to understand it is keep everything the same. They are your golden rules of rounding. Look at the number to the one place to the right of the place we want to round to. If that number is 5 or greater, round up. Otherwise, keep everything the same. All right. Great work today. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe for more content. Try not to increase or decrease the population before I see you again. All right. Later.